Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome to another edition of Chair Shot Sports, a Driver to the Top production. I'm your man, John Anthony. Guys, what a week of wrestling we've had. Monday to Friday, awesome programming from WWE, AEW, TNA, NXT. All of it was amazing. Starting on Monday, the Wyatt 6 debut, all the way over to Friday, where you have Jacob Fatu, now a member of the Friday Night SmackDown roster, joining the Bloodline with Solo Sikoa. Guys, it was amazing. Let's get into it. Let's start with Monday night, June 17th, the day and night that everyone was waiting for, the date that was pointed out and talked about in all the QR codes, all of the computer codes, all of that stuff that was all in the videos, everything we followed with Uncle Howdy now have come to fruition. Monday night, Jey Uso confirming and securing a win and getting into the Money in the Bank, Yeet in the Bank time, gets in the crowd, celebrating with everybody. There it goes. Boom, boom. Lights go down. People are going nuts. This is the moment we've all waited for. Look over to the entranceway. There's a very familiar door that pops its way into the entranceway. A very familiar blue light bellowing from behind it. Door kicks open. Now, mind you, not when Bray first came back, the door opened up. This door was kicked open. Something evil has come through this door. The blue light then vanishes. Smoke is bellowing on the floor, through the door, the entire arena. If you look, there's something or someone crawling through that door, through the bellowing smoke, toward the Uncle Howdy lantern that's middle way up on the entrance. Come to find out, there it is. There's Sister Abigail. That's Nikki Cross. Awesome stuff. She stands up, points to the cameraman to take his way around into the back to obviously find the rest of the clan. Cameraman goes back. First corner we turn. Smoke everywhere. Dark. Very dimly lit. Another pile of bodies. Camera looks up. There's Ramblin' Rabbit. Obviously that's Rowan. We go through Gorilla, and a gorilla has been abolished, has been massacred, blown up, lights broken everywhere, screens falling down, sparks, everything going on, bodies everywhere. And there we go. We find Mercy perched up on one of the equipment boxes. This obviously being Dexter Loomis. You see a whole bunch of bodies just everywhere. Blood, people just beat up. The only other way to go is right down the tunnel, back toward the locker rooms and obviously out of the arena. As soon as we go through that curtain, who's there to meet us is a very well done up Joe Gacy with a Huck This the Pig mask on, obviously looking like a gas mask. So that was awesome to see. As we're looking at him, we pan over a little bit. There's some more bodies, and the camera goes and zooms right in on a debilitated Chad Gable, blood coming off the side of his head. Obviously, very much worse for wear. With that, the camera pans up, looking down that very long hallway to get down to the locker rooms. And there he is. There he is, Uncle Howdy, the man who has orchestrated all of this, months and months and months of the QR codes, going down the rabbit holes, giving us the clues, letting us know that a massacre is coming and time is up. With that being said, obviously, another very illuminated blue light starts walking toward the camera, grabs the guys on the way out, grabs Huskus the Pig grabs Mercy, go ahead and grabs Ramblin' Rabbit. They make their way out into back to the entranceway, go around the door, the camera comes, an amazing sight, fireflies everywhere, the arena is illuminated. They make their way over to stand behind Nikki Cross, and there they are. They are the Wyatt 6, S-I-C-K-S. Great play on words, and they're here. The massacre is here. Uncle Howdy is here. And the things that have happened over this past week, from Monday to today, a whole week. I know a lot of people, including myself, I was waiting for something at NXT, nothing. Waiting for something on SmackDown, nothing. So it does look like the Wyatts will be exclusive to SmackDown for now. Who's to say that they run roughshod, do what they have to do, and maybe make their way over to the other brands. But for right now, it's really looking like they're growing their roots on the Red brand, which is amazing. It makes a lot of sense going into the end of the year, going into Netflix, having the Wyatt 6, Bo Dallas, and those guys on that brand. So that was amazing. We're going to talk about a little bit what we do with the group now that they're here. NXT was also awesome as well. Talking about debuts, we had 20-man battle royal to see who's going to face Trick Williams over at NXT Heatwave. And who shows up? Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Awesome. The place went nuts. The PC, the camera was shaking that was on the entranceway. People losing their minds that Joe Hendry is now in NXT, crossing the line. The prohibited portal is open. And not to take anything away, too, Kazarian was also in there as well, the king of TNA. Some great, great names. We had a couple names from SmackDown and Raw over there as well, which was cool. Joe Hendry comes out, gets some mic time, gets in there, eliminated first by Kazarian, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of people are upset by that, but hey, listen, it makes a lot of sense and builds their feud over on TNA, makes it make a lot of sense over there. But it was great to have him in there and him just blowing out of there and looking at Shawn Michaels and saying, I'll show up on any show I want. Is very, very telling. And again, everything counts. Watch the product and you'll know that everything's done and said for a reason. So seeing him show up on a Raw or SmackDown will be just as cool, or maybe even shows up at Heatwave as well. So we'll see what happens. So we had that, and obviously the winner of the Battle Royal. Little shocking. It wasn't on my bingo card for him to win this this early on. Young OG Javon Evans and Trick Williams will be your main event for WWE Heatwave. In NXT production, obviously. That's going to be amazing, taking place in Toronto, Money in the Bank weekend. So that's going to be very, very, very exciting. Also, too, at the end of NXT, you had Paige, Ethan Page, Trick Williams, Young OG, and Sean Spears all in the middle, all reaching for the NXT Championship. So that's very telling as well. Could we have a fatal four-way match on the horizon? Only time will tell. I'm sure we'll see a little bit more this week on NXT and Ava getting involved and finding a solution to the problem of all these guys who want a piece of Trick. So let me skip over Wednesday night, go over to TNA. One of the biggest things that happened on Raw, aside from the Wyatt 6 debuting, was Drew McIntyre seemingly quit WWE. Not just Raw, WWE. Got in the ring. Everyone's chanting CM Punk. He's kind of laughing to himself. CM Punk. I can't do this anymore. Screw this company. I quit. Walks out. Gets found in Gorilla. Triple H is trying to stop him. Adam Pearce is trying to, get his hands out. Let me talk to him. That's it. And the last time we see Gorilla in one piece is Drew McIntyre walking through those curtains and walking down the aisleway. Now, that's very funny. On a sidebar to that, one of the biggest conspiracy theories going on right now, one of the weirdest ones, I don't know how it really makes sense, is Drew McIntyre is the sixth member of the Wyatt Six. He was the one to leave, however he did it, quitting or whatnot, was the last one to walk down an entranceway, and that's where, of course, Uncle Howdy comes back in. So I think it's cute. It's kind of fun to talk about, but obviously I think Drew has a lot other bigger plans, and being in that stable, there's a lot of other stuff going on for him right now. That's funny to hear that kind of stuff. So Drew McIntyre, obviously, looking like he quit WWE. My assumption was he's going to show up on Thursday night. And he's even fueled a little bit more because when we opened up TNA this past Thursday, the system was in the ring, talking about how dominant they were, obviously retained all their championships against all odds. Moose pretty much saying, I'm untouchable, no one can touch me. The Authority, the Sheriff, Santino Marella, comes out, has a little message for Moose, lets him know that we're now going to have a road to Slammiversary. 5 matches. Those 5 winners will then get in the ring and compete with Moose in a 6-man elimination match at Slammiversary. Now, this was happening right at the top of the show. And I thought, for one, that this was going to be where you're going to see Drew McIntyre quit WWE and make his way back into TNA and get into that tournament for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Drew he's already been quoted as saying, he shared it on his socials, back when Drew Galloway was back in TNA. TNA actually showed a clip. I think it was the day after I think it was Tuesday. They showed a clip of him debuting in the Impact Zone on TNA. So it was very telling. It didn't happen obviously on that night, but you never know what can happen. There's still 4 more matches, and then we get to SmackDown. SmackDown's here. CM Punk opens the show, talking about being cleared, medically cleared. going forward, if he's going to be ready for Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, when he's going to be ready to come off the shelf and get back into the ring as a competitor. Who but Paul Heyman makes his way out to the ring, a 14 or 15 year reunion for these two. Awesome stuff. The crowd's going nuts. I'm losing my mind. I'm sure a lot of other people were marking out as well. An awesome, awesome moment to see these two sharing their time in the squared circle again. Pretty much the dialogue goes back and forth of Paul giving Punk his flowers, a very, very emotional embrace between the two of them. And pretty much Paul saying respectfully, I care for you. You are the best in the world, but you need to go because these Samoans in the back are going to rip you limb from limb, cleared or not. And pretty much that ensues. Here comes Solo Sikoa, brings the Tongans with him. They're pretty much like, acknowledge me or I'm leaving. The telling thing was Paul asking the favor for Paul if Punk does this and leaves, that he takes Paul with him, much to the chagrin of Solo Sikoa. And then and at that point, obviously, Punk goes to do the acknowledge that they're the biggest bunch of crap and a bunch of phonies in that group. They go to obviously get in the ring to take out CM Punk, and here comes Cody Rhodes sliding in, 2 equalizers, 2 baseball bats, gets them out of the ring. So that was awesome to see Cody come back and helping CM Punk. Obviously, Punk a huge face right now, so aligning him with Cody Rhodes would actually make the most sense. And obviously, with all that happening, if Punk is to turn, if you go to uber heel, you would want him close to Rhodes. So when he is made clear, he can turn, and then he goes into a title program with Cody. So that happens. Punk's in the back. We're getting some reporting. We go to the back. Kayla Braxton, which I'd like to take this time to wish Kayla all the best. This is her last week with WWE. She's done an amazing job. She's got some future endeavors that she wants to pursue and go after. So all the best to her from Chair Shot Sports. Watching her all these years has been amazing. That being said, she's in the back. She's doing some reporting. All of a sudden, boom, 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 massive bangs on the garage door to the arena. Now, for one, I'm thinking this is something to do with the Wyatts, right? They're going to raise this up, and they're going to be standing there. Even better, the garage door starts to come up. CM Punk is laid out, and who's standing over him? Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is back, picks this man up, carries him out to the ring, out to the entranceway, dumps him out there, takes off the name bracelet off of name charm bracelet off of CM Punk, tucks that in his pocket. Here comes the GM of SmackDown comes out, obviously pushes him back, gets a push back for his troubles. Nick Aldis like ready to go, gets pushed back. They got to bring the stretcher out. They get CM Punk into the ambulance, and he's taken out for the rest of the show. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Raw tonight. A lot of storylines going on tonight. Raw, this is probably one of the biggest shows to look forward to, aside from last week being the reveal of the Wyatt Six. So before we start talking about this week and what the storylines we're looking for, I know I jumped over it. Let's go back to what happened Wednesday night on AEW. AEW, a lot of stuff going on. MJF had a great match with Roosh. That was awesome to see. But the biggest thing coming out of AEW this past week was they finally released the brackets for the Owen Hart tournament. Now, the special thing this year about it is out of the men's and the women's brackets, whoever the winners are, they will get themselves a world championship opportunity at All In. The men's bracket is Claudio and Pac, Ray Phoenix, Jay White, Brian Danielson with Shingo, and then Jeff Jarrett. Has pulled the wild card. I'm pretty sure I can see how this is going to go. Looking at how all things have been, we're looking at timelines. There's been a notable name that hasn't been around for a while that might have a little bit of a feud and a history with Swerve Strickland. Swerve has been going through all these opponents and doing a damn great job of it. Awesome championship run right now. I believe the wild card is going to be none other than Hangman Page. Adam Page is going to make his return in this tournament, go all the way, get his title shot against Swerve Strickland, and probably get the belt off of Swerve Probably something nefarious is going to happen. Someone will align with him, some kind of interference, maybe a new person coming into the company. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure Adam Page, this is how Hangman Page is going to get his title back from Swerve. I think that's the best way to do it. Adam's been away for a little while now. We've definitely forgotten about him being in the picture. A lot of other people. It's been a lot of convoluted on Wednesday nights, also on Saturday nights as well. And that's going to be awesome too. Forbidden Door, we're going to be doing a prediction show later on this week before Sunday. And then right after Forbidden Door, probably halfway through the scrum, we're going to make sure we're going to get up here. We're going to do a recap show with you guys right after the pay-per-view, talking about what happened, talk about how we're feeling about it, and what we're going to be looking forward to for that upcoming Wednesday of Dynamite. So with all that being said, we covered all our bases, right? What do we have going on? So we have the biggest thing right now, everyone's talking about in wrestling, is the Wyatt Six. And now they're not only are they big right now on Monday nights, but they are streaming themselves and getting their fingers and their tentacles into a lot of other things on social media. And this is one of the coolest things where I think a lot of people, I'm going to answer the question in a second that I'm about to ask. What do we do now? So I get it, right? We had an amazing cinematic portrayal and an event on Monday night. Very well put together for these folks to make their entrance and make themselves aware to the rest of the WWE universe. But the biggest question has been, what do we do now? How do we book these guys where it makes sense for them moving forward? Let me take a little bit of time and try to answer that for you. So the biggest thing is, let's take it from the bottom and go all the way to the top. If you're looking at a hierarchy, right? So let's start with Sister Abigail and Nikki Cross. Now, I assume that's Sister Abigail. No one said that's her. A lot of people are saying the sixth person could be an Alexa Bliss. But reports have come out that said she does not want to be a part of it, or didn't want to be a part of it, and won't be, because she's not medically cleared and not ready to come back. So they couldn't write her into the storylines. Could she come in down the road? She could. Could be a thing. But I'm gonna assume for these purposes that Nikki Cross is Sister Abigail. So how do we book this? She's probably the easiest one. She can go into the women's division, a brand new breath of fresh air. Now, Nikki was always dominant before these characters, before she jumped into this faction. She was always a force to be reckoned with, always on the wild side, always a little crazy, always had a little tick in her eye. She's going to be easy to go into the women's division. And I'm not saying, I don't think it's right to have them all rise right up to the top and win all the championships. Because you didn't even do that with the Shield or with Evolution, right? So you want to take your time, but you don't want to wait too long. You want to make it make sense where they show their dominance and where the deck is stacked against them, they're going to rise above because of either the supernatural, allure to it, or using their powers, or going to that place and being that character. My thing is, I really hope they did what I talked about on our radio show, our weekly radio show. I really hope that we do what Bray Wyatt did with The Fiend. Bray would still wrestle as Bray Wyatt. And then he would conjure up The Fiend when he was needed, when he needed the extra push. He needed that extra aggression, the extra energy, just that extra next level. He would call on The Fiend and go to that place. That's what I want to happen. I want Nikki Cross to have a match. I'm sure she has some weird entrance, right? Some weird gothy music. Comes out and does her thing. Starts going through the ranks. But then, let's say she comes with whoever, a Nia Jax type of competitor where it's just a little too much for her. But then that match will be where the lights go out. Maybe they come back on, she has the mask on. Or something like that. The lights change. Something weird like that. Where they call upon that extra possession that Bo Dallas has now released in them. That Uncle Howdy has showed them the way for that. That's what I'm hoping happens with all the characters. So Nikki Cross is going to be easy to book in the women's division. She'll be able to rise up, go pretty far up on Raw. And I think that's really the only way you see someone like that beating a Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? Or, a Liv Morgan, where they have that extra gear and they're able to take them out. Next up, kind of easy again. You take Rowan and you take Dexter Lumis, package them as a tag team. That's probably the easiest way right now to get gold onto the group. I love Awesome Truth. I love it. I love The Miz. I love R-Truth. But their gimmick, they had their moment. It's running a little dry. I feel like all the matches they're kind of winning with outside interference. It's not really like a 2-on-2 kind of match. Weird, funny stuff with Truth. I get it. It's funny. I like it with Truth. But with the titles involved,
I think we kind of need to step away from that gimmick. They gave him the WrestleMania moment. It was great. It was awesome. They were able to usher in the new Raw titles, tag titles, which was great. But I think this is the time where you have Rowan and you have Dexter just annihilate these guys. Just boom, 1, 2, 3, take those belts. That's the safe bet. Get those belts are cool to be there, and like you have other tag teams that can kind of make themselves up and go. Even the Judgment Day wants to take a lick. If it's Finn Balor and Damian Priest, or Finn Balor, or JD, anything, whatever combination you want, you can go against them. That's probably the easiest to get the gold quickly onto the group. Then you get the wild card. Joe Gacy, for me, personally, is probably one of my favorite characters in the group. Watching him start in NXT with the cult leader-esque gimmick, going up the schism where it was brought to fruition of him being the cult leader, kind of introducing Ava, the Grizzled Young Veterans, they were there as well. But it just doesn't. I don't want to say it wasn't done right, but it just wasn't. It wasn't done right. A lot of too many losses to not enough wins. I think they had a couple shots at the goal, but it just wasn't the right time for the tag belts to transition onto them. So I feel like and then obviously they wanted their release. Ava, I feel like just wasn't ready, so we got to find another role for her so we can keep her on here. But we'll bring her in down the road. Thus, with her becoming the youngest GM in WWE and NXT. So Joe was kind of left out. He did the wild stuff. He had some awesome stuff with Dijak. That was amazing stuff. The whole straight jacket, crazy stuff. But it all made sense, right? Nikki Cross was walking around just in a daze, looking off into nowhere. She ends up in the group. Gacy has no place, doesn't know where he is, just in weird places, has no sense of belonging, cuts the promo about hearing the voice in his head. But now it's very clear now he knows where to go. And that was Uncle Howdy. So that made sense as well. So, the tip of the iceberg. How do you book Uncle Howdy moving forward? It's actually quite easy if you think about it. It's not. I can give you the quick payoff, what's going to happen, as to what maybe long term we're looking for. If I had to guess, or if I was a booker, if I was Paul Levesque, if I'm going to book Uncle Howdy the right way and make him look like a legitimate threat, obviously in the world title picture or just in general, to come for any title against any of the competitors in the back, you have him go the same route that they did with Christian in relation to Edge, with Rey Mysterio in relation to Eddie Guerrero, Cody Rhodes in relation to Dusty Rhodes. In a memorandum, and not to say he doesn't deserve it, because he does. I feel like he's probably 100 times better in the ring after all this time for training, getting ready for this. Uncle Howdy needs to capture the World Heavyweight Championship, and it will be, in essence, an honor to Bray Wyatt. They've done it before. They've done it with all the other people. When Edge left, Christian got it. When Eddie passed away, Ray went on his run. With Dusty Rhodes, obviously, Cody finishing the story, getting his hands on the championship. I think it's only right that they do this and have Uncle Howdy win it in memory of Bray Wyatt. And again, I do that very lightly because that's not the only reason he should win it. Obviously, if he gets in the ring and he's not ready, still very green, just can't do it, then, obviously, Christian, Ray, Cody, phenomenal athletes. Not to say that Bo Dallas isn't, but I'm sure he's a lot better than what we saw his last time around with WWE. So I think that's the best way you book them right now. And what they're doing before we get to that is awesome as well. So let's talk about kind of where we go from here, like what we're going to look for this coming week, right? We have, if you guys haven't watched, the biggest thing going on, the first thing was Pat McAfee. So last week on, I believe it was Thursday, there was a blackout. And they show like coverage, in the back, there was a drone, which I automatically went to Matt Hardy, right? I'm thinking, boom, another crossover. I'm like, it doesn't really make sense for Matt to just jump in. But it does, because Matt and Bray were tag team champions and were together. So it makes sense. So obviously Uncle Howdy, that would be an alliance for him. Friday night comes. The show very abruptly goes off the air. So excited I can't even talk. Abruptly goes off the air with everyone looking off camera at something like, the hell is that? Goes dark. And the words "you lied," flash, gone. So the weekend comes and goes. Obviously, I'm on it. Everyone else on X is talking about it. We're texting Pat McAfee. We're tagging him on X. Everyone's hitting him up on Facebook, on Insta. What's going on, dude? What's going on? The videos are going viral on YouTube about what's happening on the Pat McAfee show. Here comes Monday. I don't think it's any kind of coincidence that Paul Triple H Levesque is the guest of honor on the Pat McAfee show today. Also, Michael Cole was in as well. Paul talking about the deal with Netflix, how obviously once they hit Netflix, they're already being 80% of homes outside of the U.S., let alone the United States. So again, a massive deal for WWE, a great get. Obviously, they got paid, but I think it's going to do wonders for NXT and their buy rates because people are going to get NXT just to watch WWE Raw. And I've said it before. You don't think that Nick Khan in the back of his head has had this discussion if things run out with USA or things don't work on the CW. Hey, what if we bring other stuff down here to Netflix? So you guys become the official home of WWE. Peacock's about to run out in 2 more years. They got to put their content somewhere. It's gonna go to Netflix, which it just makes sense. It's perfect. The stars just align for everything. So with all that being said, and then again we get another. They're talking about. We're talking about some things going on in the back, what's going on in WWE with Raw and Uncle Howdy. Then we get, you lied. Again, on the screen. We come back. Pat's like, come on, Foxy, what are you doing? The producer on the show, come on. And Paul Levesque is like, dude, you got to watch out, man. Something's coming for you, man. I didn't even feel comfortable coming on your show. So Paul's selling it, doing an awesome job. You can see the look on his face, and Pat's looking at him like, come on, dude. Like, that's not cool. Don't talk about it like that. So now they're coming for Pat McAfee. So that's going to be interesting. That's your one storyline on Raw for tonight, right? Your second one, if you folks are active on X, what's going on with Adam Pearce? And if you don't know, ever since last Wednesday, Adam Pearce has had cryptic messages on his Twitter that go away maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later. They're spelled differently, calling him the mailman. Because if you don't know, or the postman, I apologize, because he played the mailman on one of the episodes of the Firefly Funhouse with Bray. So, it was very cryptic, words everywhere, but the last message was message delivered. And Adam's like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I'm perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm feeling great. And then Adam Pearce, on Saturday, proceeds to put out a video of him talking about how Chad Gable will, in fact, be in the triple threat match for qualifying for Money in the Bank. As we're going through, we're getting squiggles, lines, and toward the end, it's literally a pull-in of his face and just like, and Pearce just looking dumbfounded. So the angle here is Adam Pearce brainwashed by the Wyatt Six? So are the Wyatt Six going to be running WWE Raw? This is the way you book them. This is the way you do this right. You have minds right now and people that are in charge that couldn't do it that Vince McMahon couldn't do it. With new people in creative now in charge of Raw. Now let's just forget just waiting every Monday night to do this. Let's just go. Don't put our toe in this. Let's just dive in. Let's use the other avenues that we have. The only thing better than this is if Logan Paul was the Intercontinental Champion on Raw. And they could take over his show too. But this is the question that everyone asks. Why do they, Pat McAfee, he's, you either hate him or you love him. You like him or you don't. I think he's amazing. I think he's a great compliment to Michael Cole on Raw. I think he does a great job. Obviously, he's a big fan getting to call these. He's getting better in doing color commentary, but he's really just a huge fan getting to do this. But using his social platforms and using his daily show. So if I'm a wrestling fan, I'm a WWE fan, I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, what? Is that Uncle Howdy? Uncle Howdy's like, I'm watching Pat McAfee's show at 1:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and they're doing some weird WWE shit. That's awesome. That's just genius to bring it in there. And then the stuff on X with Adam Pearce, because he posts every day. Make sure you love someone today. And now he's doing the stuff with the postman. Wild stuff. Raw is going to be amazing, guys. I'm excited for it. It's going to be great. If anything wild and crazy happens, we're definitely be doing a special edition of Chair Shot Sports right after Raw and Raw Talk. We'll talk about it. Go over what just happened. But other than that, I say it a lot. Everything is cooking right now, guys. NXT is looking great going into Heatwave. Who knows where Joe Hendry's going to show up? With TNA having the prohibited portal open, and kind of just everyone able to go back and forth. I do, if it's not Drew McIntyre, I do think that someone from WWE, NXT, is going to end up on TNA somehow in that match at Slammiversary to go for the TNA World Championship. I'm hoping it's Drew McIntyre. Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe more of a mid-level kind of wrestler. Maybe a mid-carder. But the Drew McIntyre Mysteries is the third headline to watch Raw for tonight. 3 reasons to tune in for 3 hours and be tuned to your screen. Not only do you have, is Adam Pearce brainwashed? What else is Uncle Howdy going to do in the wake of his massacre last week? Now we have Drew McIntyre, who quit, goes over, beats the hell out of CM Punk, gets thrown out of SmackDown, puts his hands on Nick Aldis. What are we going to do? I'm telling you right now, if the guy is fired, suspended for like 90 days or some wild crap like that, I'm telling you, he's showing up on TNA Thursday. They probably didn't do it this past Thursday because it was too predictable. I'm telling you, he's going to show up. He's going to be on that show. I cannot see him not being in that elimination match at Slammiversary. Makes the most sense. That being TNA's WrestleMania, to have some notable WWE names be in that show. And not to say, I'm sure that we're going to start going down the road for either the War Games or SummerSlam, things like that someone from TNA doesn't jump over, either if not just NXT, over to WWE. So it's getting excited. It's getting exciting, and AEW is great as well. With MJF being back, I like how they're booking him. They're not putting him right up to the top. It's really a shame that he's not in the tournament. He's probably the one big name I would want there. And on the other side of the men's too, the women's bracket is awesome as well. But my biggest thing from both sides, and I believe out of the women's bracket, it's going to be Mariah May. This is where you're going to get she wins the tournament. Tony Storm's happy for her, but you see the look in the eye of Tony knowing that she's coming for the belt. And this is going to be where Mariah May makes the turn, gets the championship, and it puts the wedge between them, and then they have a program together, probably going into Revolution next year. So that's going to be great as well. So everyone's hit on all cylinders. The only thing with me at AEW is I really wish they would have had some more mid-carders in on the men's and the women's. A lot of top-notch names going for the belts. Going for the championship opportunity, and obviously have the Owen Cup trophy as well. So that's my hit with it, and the fact that they're doing they're giving away the championship opportunities, kind of a la King and Queen of the Ring. Other than that, again, bad timing, but other than that, I think it's great. The tournament's always a great tribute to Owen Hart, and Tony Khan. Kudos over to him for doing that. So with that being said, guys, it's going to be an awesome night tonight for WWE Raw, an awesome week heading into Heatwave for NXT. TNA is heading full steam ahead, finding 5 more challenges for Moose in the TNA World Championship, and SmackDown is going to be off the chain with Jacob Fatu now in the bloodline. What is going to happen next? Is Roman coming back soon? Could this be maybe the weight that tips the scales in the direction of Roman being like, you know what? I think I need to come back. I think you guys forgotten who I am. You guys get a little too big for your britches and kind of smack down the rest of the family. No pun intended. And remind them that, hey, I'm the tribal chief. I run this. You don't run this. You run this because I let you run this. We're going to talk about that a little bit more as well this upcoming week on our radio show, and obviously next week as well after what happens on Friday night. Kind of what's next. Where is Roman Reigns? It was addressed today by Paul Levesque on the Pat McAfee show. He has been active on social. He has recently unfollowed Solo Sikoa on Twitter. So little things, like I said, if you follow our friend Sam Roberts, good friend of Chairshot Sports, always watch the product. Everything counts. So I'm excited, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not already subscribed here on YouTube, please do us a favor. Shoot us a subscribe. Give us a like. Last time I checked, about 89% of you that are watching these videos are not subscribed. We very much appreciate it. Weekly shows, special edition Chairshot Sports, whenever something crazy is going on in the world of wrestling. Also, if you're not already following the 16,000 strong on Twitter, please feel free to shoot us a follow. It's at Chairshot Sports. And that's also the same handle. You can find us over on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And if all else fails, if you're not doing anything, every Saturday at 6 p.m., you can also find us on The Block 105 and on SoCal Radio on the Live 365 app. So, guys, thank you so much. Again, I'm John Anthony. Get ready, get some popcorn, grab a couple cold beverages, because tonight is going to be awesome.